What is going on, everybody? It is your boy Beam Big, and we are back with another Two
Two
Boys,
boys,
One
One
Piece.
Piece. Hey,
Live action this time, for real. We're
live
here.
action again.
Let's go, live action again, but with the full review. I saw the show 3 times for this, man. So
3 times?
yeah, I watched it 3 times.
Oh my.
Almost 4, but
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot.
so I got a lot of thoughts. We're gonna go through this with this little slideshow presentation that I made.
Okay.
Alright, so we start off Romance Dawn.
Romance Dawn, first episode.
First
1.
episode. First off, banger start to this damn episode. Little spin for that. We have the Gold Rogers execution. Here's a picture of the goat. It's like they just killed it. It's like my favorite representation of this moment.
Really?
I think it's really good.
Yeah, no, it is really good. Having Garp there
Having
does
Garp there
make
is
it a little.
huge because he's not
Yeah.
there in the manga, right? He's just
No, I mean I don't know if he even had Garp like at the time, like thought up at the time.
the opening to this is hard, alright? And then we transition into our boy Luffy, bro, the goat, talking to a bird.
Yeah, like the first scenes of the anime, right?
Yeah.
Like this is kind of where the anime starts. Is him on his little raft. This is like chapter 2 in the manga, the start of chapter 2.
Yeah, well, the anime cult starts on him in the
on
barrel,
the ship,
on the
right?
ship. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, this is essentially where it starts. The only thing they cut out here is him hitting the king of the coast. But
Oh
you know,
yeah.
still,
Give him
you
that
know,
good old gum pistol.
a closer start to the manga here, and I like watching this show 3 times. He's grown on me a lot. I really like it now. I think it's pretty good for what you can do with Luffy in live action. You know.
Yeah, that's fair. He's a really good Luffy. Like
Yeah.
he's a good character. He's a good character.
And then we meet Alvida the Terrible, Mr. 5 million bounty. And first off, these fucking cut-ins they do with these bounty posters. Over here was Gold Roger, even. Also, I'm glad they didn't show Gold Roger's bounty because they very easily could have.
Yeah, no, they didn't.
But we have Alvida ship. Actually, I quite like Alvida in this. They got rid of the beauty trope and replaced it with just the strongest on the seas.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I knew that they were doing the trope, but it was different. I just couldn't put my finger on it.
Yeah.
Because it's been so long since I've even seen Alvida in the manga. Because that's what I'm keeping up with right now. It's like it was interesting to. I think that change worked a lot.
She's cool and she's menacing. You know, she's not as
Mhm.
visually striking as Alvida in the manga is in this part, but I think she carries a menacing aura. And moving on to my boy Moby over here. Bro, this actor, like, they couldn't have gotten somebody who looked more like Kobe. I didn't think they would be able to pull off Kobe.
For original design Kobe, he is perfect for the role.
He's so good. And so far, the show is a W up to this point. The one moment where I think it hiccups here is when Kobe doesn't speak up for himself, and Luffy basically does all the talking for him in this scene, which is different from how it plays out in the manga. I feel like that's the only thing they sort of missed the mark on.
Yeah, we're in the manga. Kobe's like, she's ugly.
She's ugly.
Like, ugly. You're ugly.
You're ugly.
I hate you.
And then Luffy's like, let's go. And then he beats her ass. And this one, Luffy's like, he said you're ugly. And I was like, when I saw that, I was like, I don't know, man. They should have given Kobe that moment, but it is what it
Kobe's
is.
Like, I didn't say that.
I didn't say that. Yeah. But moving on to what I'm dubbing after 3 viewings, the best sequence in the show for me. And I needed to give it its due diligence in this section. It's the Zoro introduction scene. I fucking love this scene. I do not know. I mean, I know why. I'm about to explain it to you.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying. So first off, we got this fucking dope ass bird eye view shot.
Mm-hmm.
Just this first sequence alone is why I like it so much. Because then you got the swords, and it's zooming in on the swords, and then he lights the damn match. I didn't put that in. Fuck. And then he lights the things, and then he's like, this one's for you. And then the guy asks him to join Baroque Works, and then he's like, they should have sent somebody stronger than number 7. And that scene is so hard. Like we never saw Zoro really in his bounty hunter days, and I think that's also why I like this so much.
Right,
Is
we
because he
actually
was
get to
killing
see
motherfuckers all
that.
the time. Like he they call him a
Yeah,
demon for a reason. He was out here doing this all the damn time.
yeah. Zoro the Pirate Hunter is his moniker. Like,
So yeah, I really like this
that
scene,
thing.
and then this moment is just that whoa part of that first whoa moment of the episode,
Right, yeah. It's like, oh wow,
and the
the
most
show is not
violent the show is
not
gonna
pulling the
get.
punches on the. Yeah. Yeah, it is still like a damn, like you could see the whole guy's whole insides.
Yeah, it's a dope scene, and I gotta give them props for not only bringing Mr. Seven, but giving him a. He looks pretty alright for what this drawing was. You know,
Yeah.
I kind of like what they cooked here.
I mean, yeah, what a reference to go off of. They actually did is the thing. They actually went. I don't know if maybe Oda had a hand in it, or they found the old SBS.
No, I
We're
think
talking about Mr. Seven.
I think I saw an interview where they were like, yeah, we just had the SBS on hand because that was like our guide
Oh,
for a lot of
oh,
the Easter egg stuff for sure.
yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Like, the SBS is like half of the content of One Piece,
Yeah,
I swear.
it is a lot of the content of One Piece. Moving on for the rest of the episode here, we have Nami's introduction scene, which is ripped straight from when we meet her in the actual series, and I think they caught it pretty. They did a pretty good job of it, bringing Nami in early,
Yeah, it
taking
showcases Nami's sort of
taking the cues from the anime
nature.
here, except going deeper with it was just having her meet Luffy in this episode. Skipping a little bit ahead. This part of the episode. I just had to include a picture of this because who thought up this scene? I need to know who wrote this. Who wrote it on paper and then it got approved
Um,
through multiple fucking channels? Probably to Oda himself.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It's such a funny scene. It's a live action show. It's not gonna be too bad, you know, compared to like an anime or something like that, where you might have some fan service. Oh, One Piece ain't gonna be too bad. Episode like 20 minutes into the episode, it Helmeppo's bare ass just on the screen.
It's a
It's an interesting
it's a
moment
scene.
for sure.
It's a moment. It's a moment. I skipped the entire bar. I
Like
didn't
it's in
include any
character
of
for
the bar
Helmeppo.
stuff.
Yeah, no, I did notice that. I missed a lot of the bar stuff, so I didn't see a lot of it, but
The-
it fuses the sort of the rice ball scene and then how Zoro got captured in the first place.
yeah, Thoro's badass, and then there, you know,
It's fun.
Thoro hits Helmeppo. That's basically all that happens there. We meet Nami. They sneak in. They steal the chest. I didn't include any of these pictures just because I don't know. I
Yeah,
guess I
that's
wasn't
fair.
thinking about it. I was just thinking about the big moments of the second half.
Right. I mean, yeah, it's interesting Nami meeting Luffy so early.
I think it works to build her character. I think Nami in the live action has a lot more. It gives her more presence throughout just the whole series. I mean, she was
Yeah,
regardless. She was gonna join them on the second episode, but like, this is the trio. You know what I mean? The first three
yeah,
members.
just the original three. They're there for like a while,
Yeah,
for sure.
so it's cool to see them. Axan Morgan, I think, was done great, along with Helmeppo. I think the little nods to Axan Morgan, they dropped him taking out Kuro, foreshadowing that, and then it gets brought back up again
Right.
during the Kuro section. I think that's really cool.
I completely forgot about that part in the manga.
Yeah,
So
that does
hearing
happen.
that pointed out again, I was like, oh yeah.
I will say, with this Morgan, he doesn't feel like a villain. He is an asshole, but Morgan in the manga was killing his subordinates for just speaking out of turn. You know what I mean? In
Yeah,
this
no,
one, he's just like, "Hey, get to work."
it's yeah, and this one he's more of like a corrupt politician, whereas like in the manga he's just like a
He's
straight up
just a straight up
like
villain.
murder, like which I do think that the anime version is better because like how have the Marines not caught on to like how terrible he's
How
being
comically villain he is.
in
Yeah.
yeah, how comically villainous he is in in the manga or the anime. So I do think this is a good portrayal of
Yeah,
of him.
they made him a corrupt
And
politician, and then they beefed him up because he's way tougher than Morgan, and like he could probably knock out Morgan in the manga with like a punch. I think because he took on both Luffy and Zoro in this section, and in the manga he gets one shot by Zoro. I'm pretty sure.
I don't quite remember. I was thinking that Luffy used like a battle axe against him, but no, not
Either way, he
not
was
battle
one
axe,
tap. They needed to hit him a few times in this one.
no. It was definitely like a quick finisher.
There was a fun
For
action
sure.
scene, and I liked the team up attacks they did at the beginning here were kind of cool. And I was lucky hoping there was going to be more of them in this series, but there's really not.
Mm-mm. Yeah, this is one of my favorite choreography scenes in the show, in the live action. Just because it's like it's a oneer, it's a dynamic panning shot, but it does a good job to like show everybody fighting in their own styles and demonstrating like how much stronger they are than your average person.
Yeah, and especially with like Luffy lifting the crate out of its bolts, and then Zoro just going, "All right, let's go," and picking that bitch up. Uh,
Yeah.
like I think they do a good job portraying how inhuman these two are, and then Nami in the back, she's doing her staff
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, no, it's kind of weird because they don't really ever like say how strong they are. They just look like normal people, but then they show just how strong they are, and it's kind of weird to see in live action.
Yeah, it is. They're
Whereas
just
like in manga, it's just like, oh yeah, that just makes sense.
they're strong for real. All right,
Yeah.
here we go to Boogie. Boogie.
Boogie.
First off,
Boogie
still
the
technically in the first episode, but this opening sequence of his is so cold, and then him just grabbing it. It's a good scene.
Mm-hmm.
This image I put in here, I was we're not talking about the flashbacks right now, but I needed to show this picture and tell you that Ben Beckman is my least favorite casting in the whole show.
Yeah, it's like
Because I don't know how they got almost 99% of the characters right for the casting, and then there's Ben Beckman, which
Ben Beckman.
and no disrespect to this actor, I'm sure he's a fine actor. He did a fine job.
Yeah.
He doesn't give me Ben Beckman vibes.
No, no. He just looks like a regular dude.
And he did less than Ben Beckman does in the manga. Lucky and Yasop carried more in the live action, whereas Ben Beckman was more there in the manga version.
Yeah. Yeah, Ben Beckman, man. I feel like it's just because he's such like a popular side character. He's a super recognizable character. So it's like when you don't get his look right, it's just kind of interesting. It's just kind of strange to see.
Yeah, it's interesting, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure he'll do a fine job. Like I'm not hating it because his acting was fine.
Yeah, no, his acting was good.
Anyways, into the buggy episode. I actually didn't include that many pictures because I wanted my only great moments are this scene, and on rewatch this scene with Zoro is really good to me. Because on my first watch I thought, man, Zoro's really abrasive to the crew idea for very long in this version.
Yeah.
And I think it feels like that just because he never says he's officially joining Luffy's crew until he gets slashed in like episode 6. But on rewatch, I realized this is the moment. Like this is what I missed. This was the moment that Zoro joined Luffy's crew because he's talking and he's like, I don't need to believe in him. He believes in himself, and then he's like, time to go slide on all the clowns. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's just because he never, like Zoro in the manga after Orange Town is just like, yep, you're my captain. But I really do like this moment. What do you gotta say on this episode?
I don't remember a lot of this episode, to be honest.
To be honest, this episode is also forgettable to me.
It's a cool like set. Like they're in a cool thing. I did like Buggy sort of being more. He was like an entertainer, yeah. Like he's like he kidnapped the
proper time.
He kidnapped all the townsfolk to like be in his audience, and like the laugh sign I think was pretty funny.
I think this episode lives or dies depending on how much you like this Buggy.
Yeah.
Because this Buggy is the episode. Whereas I like Orange Town because of a lot of the stuff that happens in it.
Yeah.
Choo Choo and the dog.
I
think Buggy bomb.
That was definitely my biggest like sort of disappointment with this episode is just that it didn't cover a lot of the Orange Town stuff, which I think is like for me sort of the moment I was like hooked on One Piece was Choo Choo and just a lot of the emotional parts of the Orange Town arc. I was like that again. They really hit and like established what One Piece was gonna be like. Like I was almost crying over that damn Choo Choo man.
Yeah.
Whereas this episode, and like I get why they did it.
Yeah, so I think the episode lives or dies on how
it,
much you like the Buggy. And for me, the Buggy, I like him, but I don't like Buggy in Orange Town that much. I'm gonna be honest, because I think Buggy gets really good once we see him again in Impel Down.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you mean. Buggy is like he's like a threatening villain, but he's best when he's like like not threatening. He's best when he's just like on his shenanigans.
Yeah. And we'll see some better Buggy in moments that I like, because I do think this actor is good.
Yeah, no, I do really like his
And they
his
really,
version. It
but
is.
maybe they really push his insecurities in this episode, like super.
Yeah, they
It
do,
was
for
just
sure.
like it's just like a sort of like he's depressing in the manga like that, like he's self-deprecating, but it's weirder. It feels worse in real life.
That's fair. That's fair. It's an interesting portrayal of Buggy for sure. There's definitely some Joker in it too, which I think is kind of funny.
Yeah.
It's always funny to see when the Joker poked through. But for the most part, I do really like him. I do really like him.
Maybe it's just that first watch. I know this. When I all a lot of other people really like this episode. I've seen. Just from what I've seen on TikTok and in the like, just didn't click with me. I don't know.
Yeah, no. I do think that this episode was overall probably my least favorite episode of the series.
Yeah.
Just
But those are
just-
moments. Like it had his moments. It has his moments. It's still not like a bad episode, I'd say.
Yeah, no, I think I think the acting is good, and I think a lot of the character scenes are good, but I just don't think the episode plot as a whole is all that engaging. It just kind of breezes past the whole Orange Town arc and kind of compresses it into one area and doesn't flow great to me. But
All right, moving on. Tale No Tales. What possibly could be my favorite stretch of this show. After rewatching it 3 times. First off, we start with the GOAT himself, Usopp. Out of all the castings, I don't think there's anybody who embodies the character as much as Usopp.
Yeah.
I don't think Usopp is the best character in the show because some of the writing bits and he's just not in it as much as I'd like him to be. But his actor is just Usopp. Like that's just this is what Usopp is like.
Yeah. No, it's his portrayal and like his like acting of Usopp is so perfect. It's so perfect. I mean, it's a little different.
It is, but it's real. It's like
but
real life
but
Usopp.
It's a little different, but it's different in a good way.
It's real life in a good way.
Yeah.
Live action in a
Exactly.
good way is the best way to put it.
Yeah, they don't translate the character just 1-to-1. They adapt it. They adapted his character.
They adapted his character. He's
fit
the
the
cat
setting
friend.
better.
Everybody has a friend who
Fit
caps
the medium.
constantly, and that's him.
Yeah, that's him.
To an exaggerated
It's just
amount.
him. He was definitely one of my favorite just characters to watch. Like whenever he was on screen, I'm like, I'm there.
And then we have here Kaya Klahadore. We come to Syrup Village. Usopp, Kaya. The goal is to get a ship.
Yeah,
I put these images out of order, I think.
I think you did.
But big jump here. Okay, Klahadore's the twist villain.
Yeah, they go to they have that like dinner party kind of thing.
They have the dinner party sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean it does change like the whole setting because it goes from being outside on the island and just to the manor, and sort of the dinner party is sort of like the entrance to that, the introduction to that, and how rich Kaya is.
Yeah, I think the setting does a nice job. I don't have a lot of complaints. It readapts it and cuts out a lot of the fluff. And I wanted to point out this scene in particular, which is why I grabbed this picture. This scene right here, it is also up there for one of my favorite scenes in the show. I think Kaya's actor here killed it. It was like, damn, she's going through it right now. Like I felt that, and that in conjunction with Klahadore's actor as well, just being fucking Kuro. When he turns into Kuro, I like that he's able to capture the butler and then the evil.
So it's another good casting. Like he does a really good performance.
Here he is, the big picture. Gave him the spotlight image.
Yeah.
My biggest complaint with this episode would be, and what I wish they had done differently, was drop the 2 worthless cat guys that I can't even remember the names, the other 2 butlers. Make the Django the other butler, and then have... I wish Usopp would have had a big moment like he does in the manga. He takes out Django in the manga, and I wish that moment was kept in this, because I think it would have been cool to see Zoro and Usopp working together in the live action, to see what kind of things they could have pulled off with that.
Yeah.
But other than that,
I agree.
it's like the best adapted material of the of the entire manga, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think it even like improves on the manga in some ways from the original arc.
And then
I don't
we
know.
have a major W here.
Okay. No, 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 no,
Yes, a W.
no. They can't show that. That's One Piece, man. There's no kid.
No
There's no
romance
kids
in
here.
One Piece.
No
Nah.
romance.
Live
What are
action.
you talking about? Uh,
Usopp sealed the deal. Live action
but
Usopp will always have one thing over manga Usopp. Think about that.
maybe not always, but
Not forever, but
for now.
for now.
For now.
Also, spin for that. Another spin for that.
Oh my god.
But also, we got the going, man. That's pretty big, I guess. Kind of a big W.
Yeah, for sure. Um,
And it's really grown on me. Actually, genuinely, I kind of love it.
yes, that's fair. No, I think the ship design is pretty good. Mary, just the sort of the meaning of it of the name change is a little
Oh yeah,
interesting.
completely forgot
Um,
about Mary's dead, man.
yeah, yeah. Mary the butler. He lives in the original manga, and he names it after himself when he gives him the ship.
Yes.
Whereas in this version, they're just like
They killed him off, and then
he just fucking
they named
dies.
the boat after him. That is one of the moments where I'm like, wow, I can't believe they committed to that. Because at the
Yeah,
end
they
of the day,
just
it's
did
insignificant,
that.
but it's weird now that Mary's just going non-existent in the live action universe.
In the Kaya in the manga at least has him around
She
as
has,
as a
yeah, that's a little
friend
sadder to think about because she really
caretaker.
has nobody now.
No,
Because the kids don't
no.
exist in this timeline in this universe, and now she lost Mary. She really has nobody.
Yeah, she's like alone on the island, which
She on that Doctor
yeah,
Grind set,
it
that Sigma Grind.
yeah, no, it was kind of sad.
Overall,
But
W arc.
yeah, 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 really good part of it. I did really enjoy this part of the show.
Alright. The Baratier. Bam, what a beauty. I mean, first off, just gotta compliment the set. Come on, man.
Yeah, no, I'd eat there. I'd eat there.
Bro, they should
And
open this up as a restaurant, for real.
I bet it slap.
That would be lit. And then we have, oh, my boy Sanji.
Sanji.
Him and Usopp are both just like, they're kind of that character. Sanji's real, but in this case, he just has Riz. But like, he has good Riz, it just
He has
doesn't ever work because he comes on too strong.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it does remind me a lot of early Sanji because I think early Sanji actually does like when he's introduced
Well,
in the
yeah,
manga.
he's way more gentlemanly in his
Yeah,
introduction.
He actually does have, have genuine riz. Of course, I think Oda.
Before Oda decided
It's
to
funnier to
toss
just
half
be
his
having.
character in the trash, and then fight
It's
the
funny.
allegations I fight for years and years being a #1 Sanji fan. But I love this
Uh,
Sanji, and I spoilers. I wish there was more of him in this show.
I mean, yeah, that's just how it is with him adapting the arc where he shows up halfway through the arc.
I like we get those cooking scenes. I don't really like. They're just character building scenes, so it's kind of tough to talk about them. Uh,
Yeah, it's just a lot of dialogue
a lot of
and
dialogue,
stuff.
quick wit, a lot of fun. This episode, it feels like the most kind of filler. Like it's not filler, but we're not doing much. We're just talking. We're having a good vibe, a break. It's a respite, if you will.
Yeah, yeah.
But we have this moment here. This is a little out of order. I'm cheating a little bit, but I really like the scene with Zoro and Nami
Mm-hmm.
because it's an aspect we don't get to see a lot of one-on-one Straw Hat interaction.
Yeah, almost never.
Almost
I feel
never.
like.
I know stuff like this has to happen between them. Like Zoro and Nami definitely drink together all the time because they're,
Yeah, they're a couple alcoholics.
yeah, they're both alcoholics. So I really like the scene, and it made Zoro. He's he's still skeptical of her throughout this entire series, but Zoro in the manga was just completely against her, whereas this Zoro did warm up to her, even though he was still skeptical at the end of the day. And I sort of like that change because it makes him softer. And we lost Goofy Zoro on the transition over to the show. I'll take this in sort of as a replacement for that.
Yeah, yeah. But again, another great scene. I do. This is one of the scenes that really like kind of stood out to me. Was just them, sitting around a table drinking and then talking, and Nami sort of revealing a little
Yeah.
facade. And so
Uh,
I do think about this scene a lot.
but then we get introduced to this guy.
Jumping straight into this, huh?
Yeah, because
um,
the rest of the episode is inconsequential, bro. This is the important bits.
I mean, yeah, it is.
So we get introduced to Jackyo Mihawk, who takes out definitely not a major villain in the manga, Don Krieg, in like a shot.
At least they did the whole costume design for Don Krieg. Like
They made it
they
looks pretty good. I'm not gonna like. I kind of liked
yeah,
it.
like they did Don Krieg, which they gotta give them
Yeah,
props for
kind
that
of
at
put in the
least.
effort for just one scene is crazy.
Uh,
But then, oopsie. Zoro challenges my man to a duel, and this fight is 1-to-1 to the manga. What can I say? It's not as
yeah,
extra.
no,
It's 1-to-1 in real life, but you can still see all the key moves that were in this fight, and I think they did it pretty well, especially with the way they had to sort of get Mihawk here, which is something I don't want to talk about right now.
yeah,
But it
interesting
fits his
circumstance.
character of just being like, man, you fulfilled my boredom. You are an interesting people, and I'm
Yeah,
out of here.
yeah, I'll let you live.
But the gash on Zoro's chest is another gory scene. That fucking gash on his chest is nasty.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think I kind of want to talk about Mihawk's character just a little more
oh yeah,
because
go ahead. Can I back
it's
it up?
it's also it's also just another one where it's like it's not 1-to-1 with the manga. He's a little more goofy than he is in the manga, but it works really well.
Bro, his actor is crazy. I mean, look how Buffy is just in this image. This is a low res ass image, but the man
But
is
he's
built.
he's just so fun to watch, and like his way of talking is like, oh yeah, that's bored
Magnificent.
bored bored rich guy,
Lord Rich guy.
like energy, bored badass rich guy kind of not maybe not badass, but
Yeah,
it just works. He did Mihawk good,
he
and
did me
Mihawk
all
is like
good. Yeah.
one of my favorite characters in the manga, and it's
It's
I'm
like
just glad to
this is
see
like
them.
yeah, he's easily like top 3 character in this show.
Yeah,
In terms
it's
of
just really
translation
nice
from the
to.
manga, just good performance overall, I'd say.
Yeah,
You
again,
got the
it's
line
another
up.
Usopp where it's not the same as the manga, but for good, like in a good way. They changed him in a good way.
Yeah, and I can't believe they
Um,
got somebody who look like me like, damn, bro. You gotta look good to rock Mihawk's look. And this man
yeah,
rocks
no,
Mihawk's look.
he really does.
Alright, moving on to Fishman. Because the
Fishman.
Baratier gets overrun by the Fishman. I got the worst images I could possibly get of these guys, by the way. And the Chad Zeph is like, hey, bruh.
Oh my god, that I
And
don't
then
know
Nami
what.
betrays them. That's all that really.
Yeah,
That's really all you
yeah,
need to
Arlong
know.
shows up way early, which works. I think. I think replacing Don Krieg with him, I think it works.
It's a smart
It sets
thing.
up it sets up Arlong like way before.
And another thing we didn't bring up is that he's been showing up periodically, which is cool.
Arlong.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, he does. He did show up a few times
he did show
before.
up at Buggy's place. And I think that's cool. Good utilization of characters from the past, I'd say, in this section. And it's an
Mm.
interesting way to rework the Baratier stuff.
As much as I like the Brodier arc, I didn't like Don Krieg as a
Yeah,
villain
nobody
that
likes Don
much at
Krieg.
all. Yeah, no, I
Except
don't,
for
I don't, I
me,
don't
but we don't talk about that.
this change is completely it's completely fine for me. I almost prefer it, but
Another thing, they make Luffy seem really weak in this show. Is another complaint I have. When we know he's fucking strong, and also like just because he speaks like he is weak, is that weird to
yeah.
say?
No, I get exactly what you're saying.
I feel
He doesn't boast
he
about
doesn't.
his own not that he doesn't boast, but he just doesn't demonstrate it. He kind of acts like the weak guy when he's in the corner when he's cornered. He's like,
He,
"Oh no, we don't gotta fight,"
but at any moment he could just flip that switch and beat their ass. Like
Yeah, no, like Luffy is arguably no Luffy.
Luffy is. There's
mm,
no competition for him in the East Blue besides Mihawk.
Yeah, no. Luffy is like even at like the start, he's like still the strongest person in East Blue, which is it's just funny.
Yeah, it's a thing that I didn't notice in the manga until you look back on it. That Luffy, like, none of the villains in East Blue gave him a challenge.
No, no.
But this Luffy, it feels like
Like,
he's struggling in every fight, but he just like,
yeah,
actually I wasn't, which is a weird complaint, but I don't know.
yeah, no.
Yeah.
Again, I kind of want to save my comments for Luffy until like sort of near the end.
Okay, we can wait. So we're
'Cause I
seeing
have
these.
I have my thoughts on this Luffy.
Maybe not me. This is the only flashback that I felt necessary because it's very woven into the story.
Yeah,
And I think they adapted it fine. Arlong's, yeah, jumping straight from that to this.
okay, wow. This whole art, like Windmill Village, is like so much more run down and beaten up in the anime, and is like one big thing I noticed, which like it makes sense, but it's also like comparing the two, it's just
They are different
drastic.
arcs.
Yeah,
They are not the same arcs. I don't even like from this moment to this moment. I mean, the big thing that happens is Arlong betrays Nami here, and that is accurate. But that's almost all that is the live action.
yeah. No, that's all.
Whereas, and I think this is the worst arc of the show, of the live action.
Really?
Maybe. I like the episodes. And overall I like the 2 episodes better than the Buggy episode. But
Yeah. Fair.
there's a lot of mystery in the original Arlong Park. And a lot of misdirection, and characters are not together for a lot of it until the end. Whereas here everybody shows up all together and then they're together and then they hear the backstory and then Nami gets fucking betrayed. And then Baba Booey, we're off to the fight. I wish this show had more episodes. I do think this
fair.
arc felt the crunch the most.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that.
But that being said, this moment is the most important moment to me of all of East Blue. And I think Emily Rudd here did a really good job portraying Nami.
Yeah, no, I think they did the scene pretty good.
Pretty good.
I don't
Then we get the,
know
of course I will!
It looks so, that scene, I just it's a good scene, but also him doing this pose in live action just doesn't.
Nah, it doesn't. It don't hit the same.
He just looks like a Roblox character emoting to
me. Stop. Yeah,
I'm sorry. You get what I'm saying, though, right?
I do get what you're saying. I think I like the manga and anime. In the manga and the Japanese, he puts the hat on their head and he doesn't say anything to her, and then he takes a step forwards, and then he does the "of course I will." In this version, he says it like 4 times before he says the loud one.
Yeah, he does do a.
And I wish. I think I kind of see what they were going for. I feel like they wanted to build up that he's getting hype for the fight that's about to come. But he says the first 3 in like the same tone, and it doesn't quite like build up. If he said it quieter to louder, I think I would have liked it more. But I think they captured it, and then this scene, I think they did a pretty good job, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I do think this was good. Them just standing by, they're ready. They're ready to roll for their crew.
Yeah, I don't even remember what they said. It was kind of awkward once they did that, but
I think it was, yeah. I think it was literally just like, "You ready?" Yeah. I think they all just said yeah, and I'm like, oh, thinking, well. I liked the wordlessness of it, and when I read it in the manga, how everybody was just sort of like, yeah, we're going. You don't even need to tell us. We're going. For the most part, I do think the scene.
Yeah, and then
really hit the beat.
More fighting. I mean, Sanji took out the fisherman that he took in the anime and manga, but why? And they cut it. I went back and watched the fight, and it's cut like that in the anime. But it just didn't. It just doesn't work in live action the way they cut up his final blows.
Oh yeah, the
mutton shot, like when he was doing his signature moves.
Yeah, that was a little.
It should have been like a wide shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it should have been like a flowing combo, whereas it was kind of like he did one attack and then he stopped.
Actually, overall, one thing that I wish the show didn't do as much was these fucking extreme close-ups of the
Yeah.
characters, because they do it constantly in the show. Luffy fights Arlong, and I overall I like the fight. It's not as. See, the thing about that too that we lost is that the Arlong fight is probably the most crazy fight of East Blue. With Arlong going in and out of the water, Luffy was his finger nets. It's a lot to capture.
Luffy displays some of the most creative uses of his power almost in the entire manga.
So, yeah, probably since that moment, low-key.
Yeah, literally. But they just didn't have time to show
time or probably budget. That would have been a pain to do all that.
Oh god, yeah, no, I don't even blame them.
So they take the room straight into the art room, and
into the map.
And I think again, I think they captured all the good moments of Luffy getting bit. Him breaking the axe is pretty dope.
Yeah,
and then him being like, "I'm gonna destroy this room." But again, I don't like that he's like, even if I can't beat you, I can destroy everything you are. But then he beat him anyways. Like, why did you say that if you knew you could beat him?
Yeah, no, Luffy, I don't think would be the type of person to say, even if I can't beat you. No, Luffy's like, I will beat you.
I will beat you.
So,
and then he just proceeds to knock out pillars with one punch. Like, Luffy, you're strong, bro.
Yeah, stop lowballing yourself.
But the battle axe I thought was really cool.
Yeah, no, that was a really good shot.
I'm surprised they were able to pull it off as well as they did. And then we have Luffy come out there over here. You are my Nakama.
They pretty much go straight from this to the conclusion of the B plot too.
Yeah. So this is a good segue into the B plot because the next section of the story is a big message. So here's my welcome to my TED Talk on B plots and how to fuck them up. Let's start with the inoffensive. I liked Garp, even in this scene when he comes and he takes Axe-Head Morgan, and he arrests Axe-Head Morgan, and then he takes Kobe and Helmeppo.
Really?
And I was like, yeah, I kind of like this guy, but I hope we see him more goofy later. I feel like they're keeping him serious for now. Was my thought.
Right.
I'll get into that in a second.
Okay.
Here's good B plot stuff.
Yeah.
All the Kobe and Helmeppo presence.
Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah, really good. I think all of their scenes together, it's like, oh yeah, they are actually learning to become friends.
Yeah.
And stuff is going on.
Here we are with Temper Tantrum Garp. Oh, how low we've fallen.
Right into this.
I'll swing back around to the good stuff in a second, but okay. I really want to get the negatives out the way. They just I'm at a loss, to be honest. I was vibing with the serious Garp, but not Temper Tantrum Garp. Come on, man. Give this man some respect.
Yeah. I just didn't like this series' Garp almost at all. There's a few scenes where I'm like, I get it. I get what they're going for. But I just didn't like what they did with him. It's just it's just that he's supposed to be Garp.
Yeah.
He's a stern, generic, angry, only justice kind of Marine. Like follow the law.
Yeah.
Like I just don't like that it's Garp.
Yeah.
Because Garp in the manga is again one of my favorite characters because he's goofy. Like even in his first introduction scene in the cover story, he was napping. Dude was napping in the middle in the middle of arresting Axe-Head Morgan. So this portrayal of Garp just really didn't do it for me. And every time he was on
and you wanna know one thing I hate about TV shows sometimes, Cole?
Mm-hmm.
When the B plot that you've been following ends up meaning nothing at all. And this show wanted to have the B plot and then give us this whack ass reason for why Garp just doesn't stop Luffy right here, right now. Because he definitely can, is the thing.
Yeah.
And the reasoning is he was testing him. He was testing him. Which
he was just testing him the whole time.
It just you can't have your cake and eat it too, man. What do you mean? Why would he do this? Why would he go through all this trouble? I don't understand. He should have known. He knew Luffy. He should have known this before. Like
it feels like he's actually going like to arrest Luffy the whole time, and then at the end they're like, oh no, he's actually closer to the manga Garp. at the very
the
end,
very end.
at the very end, at the end scene.
And so, here's what I thought was going to happen, and here's how I would have written it if I had written this series. If I was forced to do a Garp B plot.
Yeah.
Go back to what I liked. Garp in the opening sequence is a baller.
Yeah, no, that's a good like
Good
use
Garp.
of Garp.
Have him show up here, take Helmeppo and Koby. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do not show Garp again for the rest of the series.
Yeah.
Have Koby and Helmeppo searching for Luffy, but then have them say, "Oh, we're doing it under Garp's orders." To sort of be like, "What? Who is this Garp guy? Why is he following them?"
Yeah. Yeah, keep it more mysterious like they do in the manga.
Yeah, and then have them show up here, and have them and just copy the scene from post Enies Lobby. Copy paste that scene here if you wanted to introduce Garp in the first season, and then move the boat scene that led them into Baradier, which didn't even really lead them into Baradier. Like,
Right.
full body in the manga shoots Luffy, and Luffy hits a thing, and that's where they get roped into all the Baradier stuff. In this version, they get chased by Garp for like 2 seconds, lose them, and then just run into the Baradier on accident. So that scene, again, is pointless to the series. Like, the B-plot is useless.
Yeah.
Garp didn't accidentally lead them to Baradier or anything. Anyways, move that boat scene to the end so you have that trailer shot, and then just copy paste the post Enies Lobby scene. So he has him here, and then he's like, "All right, I'll see you later," and then have a Marine call him and be like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, like we can't.
And then have that boat scene, and then have him tossing cannonballs, but then they escape. That's how I would have done it.
Yeah, no, I think that would have been a much more effective. Just why did they do Garp like
so that
this?
the seriousness was just like a throw off at the beginning, you know what I mean? Just like
like
oh, we were just tricking you into thinking he was a big bad. But
yeah.
Here we are on a section again. These are sort of B plots, but these are more integral to the thing. All the flashbacks are great, which is I just didn't feel like speaking about them too long.
Yeah, no, they're pretty much 1-to-1 for the manga for the most part.
That's just the best image for Sanji's.
Yeah, that's really funny.
They're basically 1-to-1. All of them are great. I say Luffy's all put together is fine, but they split it up between the first and second episodes, and I think it just completely ruins the pacing of the flashback. And I just like loses some of its impact.
Yeah, that's kind of weirdly spaced how they do that.
And Zoro's is in Syrup Village, which is sort of a big turn away from what's going on in the plot. But it feels like they needed a spot to fill it in, and that's they just drew it.
Yeah, I don't know really where else you would put
there
it
is
in.
Really no because you don't have time in Romance Dawn is the thing.
No, you don't have time in Romance Dawn. You don't like.
There's no other good spot.
Baradier is
too Sanji focused.
Maybe you could have done it like pre Mihawk fight is probably actually where I would have put it, but that kind of puts it too close to like Sanji's whole thing.
Yeah, and Usopp's backstory is like quick and simple. And it is in
it fits in it. It works with
pretty nice.
Yeah,
and Nami's was done great too. So that's I really had nothing much to say about any of these flashbacks. I think they're all
my favorite part about stuff. My favorite part about Nami's flashback is they kept Arlong strip. they gave him the same exact outfit that he has in the manga flashback, and I was like, yo, that's like
drippy.
That's like one of my favorite drips in the series is Arlong's flashback drip. It's just so like goofy but like drippy at the same time. I don't know. It's a weird detail that I really like.
Yeah,
I was just glad that they kept it.
And so that's our review. 4 out of 5 stars, pretty good.
4 out of 5.
And we have here the ending scene, getting the seeing the wanted poster, and then the cast off ceremony. Any other thoughts you wanted to talk about?
This isn't a replacement for the manga or the anime. Like, don't go into this expecting to relive the East Blue, like when you first read East Blue or when you first watched it in the anime. Don't go into this expecting that. Don't go into this expecting exactly what happened before, like a 1-to-1.
Yeah.
But it's a good like show. It translates what I would think would be like a really hard manga, a really hard story into live action really effectively, like
Yeah.
way more effectively than I ever thought it could have. And it works. It's like it was legitimately just like a fun watch, like pretty like just I had
Good.
fun. Yeah, I had fun most like 90% of the series. Like there was like a few moments where I was like a little bored and Garp. But even this Garp, like he was fun to watch. It just bothered me that it was Garp.
Yeah.
But again, his scenes were still like fun to watch. Like they were still pretty well written, pretty well shot. The set design was all really good.
Yeah. I
So
mean, everything about the show was pretty high quality, and I really enjoyed it
yeah,
about it
that was
too.
it's
Which
really
made
high
it feel
quality.
like good. I
Yeah.
hope we got more money. I mean, not much more, but like for season 2, I hope they have to show up, because season 2 is the real test of whether we can do One Piece live action.
Yeah, 'cause I think East Blue is a good like
Eat Blue easy mode. They on the
yeah
easy mode, and we're
yeah
moving straight to hard.
it's a good intro to the series. But the minute you hit Alabasta, Alabasta is what the rest of the series is gonna be like.
Yeah. But overall, yeah, I loved it. You wanted to talk about Luffy here at the end? What were your thoughts on our main man in the
Um,
People North?
it's sort of similar to my thoughts about the show as entirety. It's just that he's not the same Luffy.
Yeah.
Um, and a lot of me was like expecting the same Luffy, and I was kind of just like disappointed by that because I mean I don't know, it's Luffy, it's Luffy, and Luffy is one of my favorite manga protagonists. Whereas I don't think they wrote him to be the Saint Luffy. I
Yeah.
think he's just a different Luffy. He's still
He's
it's a really he's still a really good character and a really like he's really fun to watch, and he does capture a lot of Luffy tendencies that I think are really good and really fun.
he
But
shows us a later Luffy earlier. Is how I feel.
huh.
I really like this show. I wouldn't have watched it 3 times without watching it. But
Yeah.
I was watching the show, and I was looking at manga panels and comparing, and I was specifically looking at Luffy stuff. Sometimes he's dead on. Sometimes he is just dead on. Uh,
Yeah.
and I really like those scenes when he's just like, where does the third one go? Specifically that episode 6, second Baratier episode. He's
Mhm.
under a lot of emotional turmoil, and we don't see Luffy undergo a lot of that the until Sabaody Archipelago. And
Mhm.
when you're looking at that Luffy to this Luffy, it feels like that sort of more emotional Luffy, which is something I feel like we don't really see a lot of in East Blue. Like we don't really see what he's really feeling.
Yeah.
Whereas
No.
in the live action, we are seeing what he's really feeling, and he has a lot of worries, and he's got doubts of being a captain, like he did during that Marineford run.
Mhm.
That's really 2Y.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of really like now. He's grown on me. Every rewatch, he grew on me more.
Huh. That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I just haven't from what I saw,
Yeah,
because I only watched it once. He just on like first impressions, he
yeah,
just
and I think
didn't hit me the same. But like, it's kind of unreasonable for me to expect that.
what I'm talking about also is more of the feeling. Because I do think that the writing sort of just fumbles his some of that even in the show.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
so he's a little too forward. It's a weird way to put it. But Luffy in East Blue
yeah.
especially took a more laid back role. You especially see that in Arlong Park.
Yeah, Luffy's a lot of like a big observer in the first
He's a
arc. He
big
just kind
observer, and
of
you see that observant here, and they do a lot of scenes where they show you that little that he's thinking,
yeah.
because he's noticing things. But he applies. He's more open about what he's thinking. I guess he's letting us in more. It's a weird feeling, but
Yeah, it's definitely interesting.
but I think most of it's the writer's fault, and I think that he captures Luffy's energy very well.
Right?
That's the live action.
Yeah.
If you like that
After-
video, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Two boys doing a One Piece video in 2023. Kind of strange.
I know. Could never.
Could never do Wano. Could never do Wano.
We never did Wano, did we?
No, we didn't.
Yeah,
thanks for
Wano
watching.
video coming soon.
No.
Maybe.
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 Alright, thanks for watching. Subscribe.
Thanks for watching.